You're going to see that iconic red, green and yellow umbrella everywhere this week for Arnold Palmer. It is the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill, and we are giving you our tour report. So we've gone through our re-ranked top 10, and we've talked about Jordan Spieth and Ricky Fowler. Could it be a good week for them? I mean, we think so. We're hoping so anyway. But we have our Sizzlers. Now, these are guys that when we put all the stats into our system and looked at some of those intangibles, they really jumped up. And the first one we're going to kick off with is Kevin Kisner. Now, Kisner's 80-1, and I loved a quote from him at the start of the year where he said that he's never going to play Torrey Pines. He's a little bit older now. He's been on tour for a while. He really picks and chooses the courses where he's going to do best at.
Yeah, our Sizzlers, Diane, that we're going to talk about are guys that fall into the other side of this equation, which is who are the guys that have the ego enough in check to where they're not going to try to cut the corners. They're going to play the golf course the way they can do it, the way Tom Kite did it, Lauren Roberts did it, Matt Every did it. These shorter, medium range hitters who is patient enough to not take the bait. Kevin Kisner, he is not going to take the bait. He is going to play the golf course to his strengths. You've already told me offline that he's in the top 10 of 5 best putters on Bermuda grass, but Kisner is a medium range hitter, knows how to play this golf course, and he is going to do just that.
Yeah, these were stats that the last 36 rounds on Bermuda grass, who's putted the best. Kevin Kisner comes in at number 6 on that list, but for the whole PGA Tour this season, he's 8th putting average. So it really shows you where the strength of his game is. It's getting to that spot on the green and then making the putt.
Yeah, and I don't want to overstate this, but he's not long enough off the tee to do some of the crazy stuff. So it relaxes you at some point. It makes the fairway wider because I'm not going over there. I'm going here. Yeah. And he just plays his game. And now we're going to see this. It's a little bit risky for us to take guys that are medium range hitters, but this history of this event has said it will work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kevin Kisner is our first Sizzler. Second guy, he is 125-1, and I know we keep harping on about this Bermuda grass putting, but he is number 1 on the list. Patton Kizzire is our man for our second Sizzle pick.
Yeah, Patton Kizzire. Every person that plays on the tour knows that Patton putts like Ben Crenshaw.
Yeah.
I've talked to Patton myself. I said, mate, all you got to do is just get it in play and play to your strengths, get it onto the green. And he understands that, and it's coming together. But when Patton gets hot, we saw him do it in Cancun. We saw him do it in Hawaii. He just absolutely puts the field away, just blows him away. Can he put it together at Bay Hill and be the number 1 putter of the week on this Bermuda type grass? We know he knows that he's number 1 on Bermuda grass putting. Huge advantage. Can he mentally take advantage of that by putting his ball in play? If I'm him and his caddy, I'd relax. Yeah. I'd say, let's play over here. Let's get it on. Let's play the putter.
He's coming off a week off. He lives in Sea Island. I saw some pictures of him practicing his putting with his little boy Palmer, who just turned 1. So he's going to be feeling nice and fresh. And I'm going to talk about our next Sizzler because this is a conversation I had with him. But the West Coast swing is long, and you know, if you played Hawaii, then you get to California, it kind of makes sense because geographically you're kind of close there. Then you can work your way down through all of those events, and it must be kind of like, well, I'm out here, so why not play? And then the guys that weren't in the WGC, they know they're going to get a little bit of a break before playing this event and then moving on to the players. So it has to be a good kind of like rest and relaxation week for them.
Yeah, it's nice to get back on this side of the coast. I mean, we used to talk about on tour, Diane, I remember some veteran players where they said on the West Coast that everyone was happy to one another. They're all saying hello to one another. They couldn't wait until they got to Doral, where everyone was mad at one another and the wind blowing 30 miles an hour and nobody could hit a fairway. They just couldn't wait to get off the West Coast. But speaking about wind and and all that, your brother, who is I'll introduce him. Russell Knox is our third Sizzler this week. Number 1, Diane, in greens and reg, has been through the gauntlet. of sort of a down period, and now has worked his way all the way up, was right near the lead at Pebble Beach, and now he's back at home soil here. Loves this course. Perfect setup for Russell Knox.
Do you know, it's funny because he wasn't going to play this week, and it was because he did exactly what I just said. He played the Sony Open, then did all the events out on the West Coast, and he missed a cut at the Genesis Invitational, and I said to him, do you just hate that course? And he's like, I don't hate it, I'm just always tired. Like, I've played so much that I'm tired. So his thought was that he was going to come home and have 2 weeks at home before the Players, but he said, I committed to Bay Hill because I feel great. He said, I was home for a couple of days, I'm not tired, I don't feel lethargic, I miss being out on the road, so I signed up and I'm like ready to get back out there, which that's so encouraging to hear.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say, and I hear it on TV a lot, where players get tired, and you would say Max Honma, he just played the whole West Coast, he won LA, and now he said he was going to take 2 days off, not go to the golf course, to rest. And I want to tell people on this show that there's tired, like if you went outside and chopped wood all day, that's tiring. Or if you went for a jog all day, that's tiring. But when you're in contention, you're physically tired, but you're mentally tired. And that combination kind of closes you in. Mm-hmm. It kind of like, I don't want to be out there right now. I'm not energized enough to go hit balls. I can't do anything. And it takes a little bit to get that energy level back up. But it's the combination. People will say, well, there's a millionaire. He just won $100,000. You should be jumping up and down. But you don't feel right because you're tired from the fatigue. So you've got to get over the fatigue. And what your brother's saying is true. Once you get refreshed, you're ready.
And I think for him, he's seen such a great turnaround in his game, capped off with that 7th place finish at Pebble Beach, that I think he's just like, oh no, I'm like ready for this. I'm seeing such great results in the work I'm putting in that I want to keep it going. So I love that attitude. But as you say, Russell's strength is playing that second shot into the green. If he can just make the putt, then woo!
Well, that's right. And let's not forget, Diane, that as great as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus are, we only ever saw them 15 times a year. Mm-hmm. So think about that. We would only see them just a little over once a month at their prime of only playing 15 events a year. So when they came to the golf, though, they were ready to roll.
Mm-hmm. And Russell is 160-1. So that's our 3 Sizzlers. Kevin Kisner at 80-1, Patton Kizzire at 125-1. And as we said, Russell